Welcome to Rates and Differentiation. So for this, we're going to be looking at curves and focusing on particular elements of particular curves. So we're going to look at increasing or decreasing at an increasing or decreasing rate and use some real life situations. So we know from our work back in year 11 that increasing, when we look at the gradient of a tangent, increasing has a positive slope, so our first derivative is greater than 0, and decreasing has a negative slope, so the tangents have a negative slope, and our first derivative is less than 0. When we focus on concavity, the concave up is when the second derivative is greater than 0, and concave down is when the second derivative is less than 0. So for these four particular graphs that we're going to look at, so this is our first one, it is important to understand and visualize what's happening. You don't necessarily need to remember them off by heart, but try and remember or understand what is taking place and relate it maybe to populations, if you wanted to use that as an example. So if we're talking about, so I'll use populations as a good example. So if a population's increasing, that means it's going up. So therefore, we've got tangents are positive. At an increasing rate, that means it's getting faster. So that means it's concave up. And you can see that over the time, the population's going up and the rate at which it's going up is getting faster. For our next one, we could also have a population that's increasing, but the rate is decreasing. So if you see in this case, your population's still going up, but the rate at which it's going up is slowing down. So therefore our gradients are still positive, so our first derivative is greater than 0, but the section of the curve is concave down, meaning its second derivative is less than 0. Decreasing at a decreasing rate. So think of our population again. Decreasing means it's going down, so the tangents are negative, and the rate is slowing down. So as you can see in this case, even though our population is decreasing, it's plateauing out or slowing down towards the end. So the gradients of the tangents are negative, hence the first derivative is less than 0, and the section of the curve is concave up, second derivative greater than 0. The final one, decreasing at an increasing rate. So you can see where our population's decreasing, so it's going down over time, but the rate is getting faster. So it's actually decreasing at an increasing rate. So our tangents are negative because it's decreasing. The rate is getting faster, so it's concave down in this case. So our second derivative is less than 0. So this is from a website which actually shows the economic growth before and after the 2008 global financial crisis. We're going to focus on the world, which is the blue dotted line, and between 2007 and 2010. And we're going to describe the behaviour for each year. Let's narrow down. So it's a bit, we're trying to get a bit of an idea with this, but from 2007 to 2008, you can see that it's decreasing, negative, and the rate is increasing, concave down. And then from 2008 to 2009, it's still decreasing, but the rate is decreasing as well. So it's starting to slow down a bit for that second section before it becomes stationary at 2009 and then starts to increase again. And between 2009 to the middle of 2009, the graph is increasing at an increasing rate. So once again, it's going up, and it's going up quite rapidly. But then for the second part, it's increasing at a decreasing rate. So it's actually, the next section is concave down. And we would say that the part sort of in between would be points of inflection, if we use a word in the past, somewhere between where concavity would change. Thank you.